tonight, if you sidestep the constantly pandering mainstream media, you'll be able to see the train wreck that is the Kamala Harris vice presidency. Harris hasn't been given too many responsibilities. As we said last night, her main focus really is improving her image. It needs a tremendous amount of work before she likely runs for president very soon. 2020, as we all know, was a disaster for Kamala Harris. Nobody likes her. But Harris has been charged with handling the border, one of her few responsibilities. And she continues to prove she's not up to this job. The U.S. southern border, of course, is a disaster. The story, it happens every day. It's become redundant. Quite frankly, it's become boring to talk about. It's been 5 months, 6 months of this, and 4 months of flood of migrants overwhelming our resources. Adults pouring in, kids pouring in, all of it instigated by a White House intent on pandering to the far left, as you know. Trump's common sense border policies were painted as evil and racist. What would the media and the Democrats call these border policies? I guess they'd call them virtuous. And like so many liberal decisions and policies, virtuous, but also naive, foolish, and destined to fail. Axios reporting illegal border crossings at the most in over a decade, with 4 months left to go in the fiscal. From October 1 to May 31, nearly 900,000 migrants stopped by Border Patrol. We are on pace to hit 1 million well before the end of the fiscal year. 1 million people stopped. Now think about how many people weren't stopped. And though the media votes for and by and large supports this White House, they can't ignore a problem of this scale.
Why not visit the border? Why not see what Americans are seeing in this crisis?
Well, we are going to the border. We have to deal with what's happening at the border. There's no question about that. That's not a debatable point. But we have to understand that there's a reason people are arriving at our border, and ask what is that reason, and then identify the problem so we can fix it.
But you can't fix it. We've tried before. Today, Kamala Harris was in Mexico meeting with their president, Lopez Obrador, AMLO they call him. And tonight, again, she said the same thing she's been saying for months now.
The problem at the border, in large part, if not entirely, stems from the problems in these countries.
Shocking developments. There you have it. It's really not complicated. Central America is not as nice as the United States. It never has been. Problem solved, I guess. Harris said tonight that most people don't want to leave their homes. That is actually true. Where this administration is dead wrong, though, is in the presumption that they can fix these countries by handing out your money. We can't fix Central America, and nor should we. There is a massive swath of this entire world that lives in poverty. For the morally superior bleeding heart left, how is it ethical to only fix the countries full of people who can actually walk into our own? If we are going to fix Central America, or attempt to, we better be prepared to fix South America, Africa, India, Southeast Asia as well. No. The real solution is to do what every single other first world country on the face of this planet does, and that, of course, is secure the border. It's common sense. Border crossings were at record lows when Trump left office. Imagine if the wall had gotten done, where we'd be now. We had a Remain in Mexico policy. We had the safe third country agreements preventing migrants from passing through multiple countries before they finally get here to where they really want to go and apply for asylum. We know a lot of this is BS. We see how it works. Then on day one in office, Biden jumps up there, makes a big show about undoing all of Trump's evil policies, the ones that worked. One of the dumbest self-inflicted wounds in the history of politics. We're watching it unfold right now, and they have no clue what to do. Why do you think he threw it on Kamala Harris? He doesn't want to deal with this. But this is what Democrats and our media have done to this country. In their desperation to destroy Donald Trump, they painted very common sense border policies as racist. And they did it so effectively that the Biden administration essentially had no choice but to embrace an insane open border policy that nobody really wants. Biden didn't even want to do this. 15 years ago, Joe Biden was one of the most fierce proponents for a secure southern border in the entire Senate. You think Kamala Harris really wants open borders? You think that's what she's always been about? She's a phony like everybody else in Washington. She built a name for herself throwing people in jail for smoking pot. She's a cop. All this proves is that these two, Harris and Biden, are going to do anything and say anything to win. All they care about is the politics. They don't believe in this. Kamala, of course, has much bigger aspirations than tooling around in the shadows of our feeble elderly president. All of this is about the next election, of course. Who cares about the border? Keep the far left happy. Meet foreign leaders. Act like you know what you're doing. Kamala today, of course, met with AMLO. She wore a mask outside. Here's the big greeting here. Mask on. Walk on in. He didn't have a mask on. While in Mexico earlier today, the VP, though, seemed to forget what country she was in. Take a look.
Why not go to the border as well, so that you do see the full complexity?
Listen, I've been to the border before. I will go again. But when I'm in Guatemala, dealing with root causes, I think we should have a conversation about what's going on in Guatemala.
Yeah, maybe, except you're in Mexico. Biden might be rubbing off on her. She doesn't know what country she's in. And she has been to the border and detention facility before on numerous occasions. Let's take a look at some pictures here. The one that I want you to really pay attention to is on the left here as we show you. 2011, there's Harris as California Attorney General. Oh my God, is this the open border left-wing nut that you know now? Nope. She's wearing a police jacket. We told you she was a cop. But as everything in politics goes, if you can't use it to your advantage, just ignore it. When you're in charge of a border and the border's a disaster, of course you don't go. You avoid it. It's good politics. Act like it's not there. Your job doesn't matter in politics. Your re-election does. That's all. Yesterday in Guatemala, Kamala tried in the weakest way possible to maybe solve the problem. Take a listen.
To be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration.
I mean, we just have to point out how ridiculous this is. I mean, do you remember these people on the campaign trail talking about inclusivity, bringing everybody here, asylum, this is who we are? How many times do we hear the phrase, this is who we are? It's who we are. Come here. We'll take you in because we're America and that's who we are. And now she's standing up there saying, don't come. It's priceless. This is how stupid politics is right now. And telling people not to come is about as effective as yelling at your car to turn on when the battery is dead, especially when you're talking about free college education and free health care. Who doesn't want to come for that? And from this, we learned a lot. Kamala, of course, just with that feckless comment, please don't come, going against the open border ridiculousness of the last 5 months, has agitated the far left, of course, and that's all it took. AOC tweeting out, this is disappointing to see. Seeking asylum at any U.S. border is a 100% legal method of arrival. Yeah, right, everybody's seeking asylum. That's all it took, though, to anger the squad. Think about how radical this Democrat Party has become in just the last few years. Can you even believe it? A party that fought hard for the Secure Fence Act 15 years ago is now in hot water by simply asking nicely for migrants to not storm our border by the tens of thousands and cross illegally. That got them in trouble with the Democrat Party. AOC and Kamala have a lot in common, though. They're both very, very phony politicians. But to be fair, a lot of Washington is full of that. We all remember this staged event. There's AOC crying at the border. Made sure to get the photographer out there dressed in all white. The situation right now is far more dire, far more depressing. A lot more kids caged up. But with a Democrat in the White House, AOC, of course, is all cried out. Let's let them be distracted with their photo ops and padding their resumes, doing all the things they're doing, avoiding the real problems, not fixing anything. While they focus on the superficial, we're actually seeing some pretty good news. Their base is fleeing. This is a big story. Check out this headline. New York Times, Republicans win 2 Texas mayoral races, including one in McAllen, which is 85% Hispanic. That's right. A city with 85% Hispanic population has just elected a Republican mayor. First time in 24 years. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a very big deal. It's a bellwether. We'll see what happens in the midterms. McAllen is a Democrat border town, very Democrat. But even Democrats don't want to see this kind of nonsense. They want solutions. We had solutions. We had solutions all day. But those solutions, of course, were deemed racist, probably because they weren't.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.